I will be joined today with my daughter Jasmine, my sister Shavette, and I am Lady J. Today we're going to be discussing the case of Kenneka Jenkins. We will also be laying out what we call our timeline of events, beginning the day and the time. Excuse me, bear with me here a minute. I'm working with my notes. Our timeline is going to be based off of our findings of the night of the events as well as the people. Now we're asking for you to please to help us fill in any gaps that you all think that we have missed during our what we call our investigation. We are truly trying to figure out this mystery, as we're calling it. So please make sure if there's any information that you would like to share with us as far as filling in these gaps, that you are presenting us with real proof. Again, I'm going to repeat. We're asking for real proof only. We do not want any fake screenshots. We do not want any he said, she said information that is being shared back and forth between individuals' pages. And when we say fake proof, I'm going to give you an example. The example would be where the proof came from someone sharing the fact that Kenneka's brother killed supposedly Monifa's ex-boyfriend's friend or family member. If we do not have substantial proof to back up the fact that, number one, Kenneka's brother in fact engaged in this crime, and number two, that Monifa's ex-boyfriend is the individual who was affected by this crime, then honestly, that information does us no good, and it brings us no closer to trying to solve what actually happened to Kenneka Jenkins on the night of September the 9th, 2017. Again, my name is Lady J. As I said, I'm being joined by my beautiful and wonderful daughter who has done the majority of this investigation, along with myself, as well as my sister, Mrs. Shavette. As soon as my daughter is finished here posting this link, I'm going to go ahead and give you all a rundown of our timeline. This timeline will begin with the evening that the four young ladies arrived at the Crowne Plaza Hotel. Again, it will begin with the four young ladies arriving at the Crowne Plaza Hotel. Now, what we have on our timeline, we're going to break it down like as such. Number one, on September the 6th, 2017, the mother, Miss Teresa, advised the 911 dispatcher that she had found or located a hotel parking ticket in her car, which was dated September the 6th. Again, it was dated September the 6th, 2017. Second on our timeline, on September the 7th, 2017, a male and female. Now, again, some of you may want to go back and look at some of that footage, because today my daughter and I discovered, after going back through some footage, there are two actual footage tapes of September the 7th, the individuals that approached the check-in counter at the Crown Royal Plaza. So initially it showed a male, a black male and female on camera. But when we went back today and looked, it appeared that there were 2 males and 1 female that entered that counter in the hotel, and they approached the counter. It looked like it was approximately around 1800. That would be military time, 1800. So yeah, that would be 6:09 in the evening. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the video breakdown with Kanika. The first one, the first thing we must clarify is that Kanika was last seen by her mother. Kanika was last seen or had last spoken to her mother at approximately 11:30 p.m. and that would be Chicago time, okay? We then went in and we did a map quest to try to find out how long it would take Kanika and the young ladies to get from Chicago, Illinois, that's where we're assuming they were leaving from, to the Rosemont, Illinois, at the Crown Plaza. Looking at the miles, it said it was about 26 miles, so we figured it would take them anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes, give or take, depending on the traffic, and because we noticed they do like to stop and do a little dancing and partying on their way. Okay. The second note we have here is Arlene appears to go live without glasses on her face. Again, Arlene appeared to go live without glasses on her face at approximately 11:55 p.m. At approximately 12:13, they were then seen on camera past the lobby. We also noticed that in this video footage, Kanika appeared to be passing something to one of the young ladies. Now, we're not any video experts. We don't have the equipment to go in and break it down. We just know that it appears as though she did pass something to one of the young ladies. Next, we have the elevator footage. On the elevator footage, it appeared that we would have Monifa, Shamaya, Abriana, which is Bree Bree. Now the time, we're really unaware of what the time was, but assuming this was after walking through the lobby, you can hear Monifa stating slightly, no, excuse me, you can hear Monifa saying, slight turn up with the crew. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep it serious with the key. 5, now we have Ty. Okay, everybody knows who Ty is. Ty is the gentleman or the man, young man, and I'm going to give everyone their due respect because, again, like I said, right now we're not here to bash anyone. We're only going by the information that we've done our investigating off of. So Ty went live, or it appears he went live, and when he went live, he was at the end of the hotel room. Okay, and his recording, Kanika is closer. It appears that Kanika was close to the door at the very end, and there appears that at the end of that door, and if you look at that door, you can tell that's the door where they come in because there is the typical hotel sign that hangs on the back of the door giving you all of the rules of the room, check in, check out, so on and so forth. Right across, you can tell that that is a bathroom. The reason we're saying it is a bathroom, because usually anytime you enter into a hotel room or motel room, the first room that you see would be the bathroom. Our sixth note is Ty Rowland appears to go live with Tanasia Walker. Okay, Jasmine says Tanasia would be the one that everyone is calling Nene. Now, Tanasia Walker is supposedly who appears to have drugged Kenneka. We did see her with a clear glass in her hand that appeared to contain a clear substance, but on top of that clear substance, there did appear to be a white substance that was floating on top of that clear substance. Now, during this time, we also noticed that Ty and Tanasia, again, aka Nene, after further investigation, my daughter Jasmine, and Jasmine might want to explain this one to you all. So I'm going to let Jasmine talk for a minute here. Thanks, Jazz. Okay, so now here we go back to the timeline. So then we know that we all heard, or the majority of us, Kenneka's sister state via a press conference that the last time she spoke to Kenneka was at 1:30. But then again, she came back on a follow-up interview and stated that she had never spoken to Kenneka. So there, it's a little iffy. We don't know if in fact her sister did speak to her or if in fact she didn't speak to her. We just know that that is information that was given or was put out there and was made a part of the timeline. Okay. Then we have at 1:36 a.m., and this has been checked via timestamp on Manifa Shelton's page, Irene goes live. And this is supposedly when Kenneka, or during the time that Kenneka is being assaulted. Irene goes live at approximately 1:36 a.m. So now we move down, and at approximately 2:24, if any of you all notice, a young lady who appeared to be wearing a black dress goes live, sitting on the bed. And as she's sitting on the bed, she pans around the room. But if you notice, when she pans around the room at that point in time, Kenneka is not able to be identified on that video. And again, that was at approximately 2:25 in the morning. Okay, so now it's 2:24, like I said, 2:25, when we see this young lady panning the room. But then we go down at an approximately 2:26 and about 46 minutes. We now see Kanika, who is now walking in a dark hallway. Okay. Now, looking at that dark hallway, what we came to the conclusion of, because it's only apparent that these videos have been edited, they've been flipped around, turned around, or whatever. Because on one video, she's walking down a hallway, and it just appears to be a long, dark hallway. But then on another video, she's walking down that hallway, and it appears to be a hallway that would consist of guest rooms. There is a big difference when you're in a hotel. Usually on guest floors, on the outside, there's always some type of decorative decor that lets you know that you are on the guest level. Mirrors on the wall, whatever the case may be. There's always something that is helping you to acknowledge you are on the guest floor, versus when you're on a lower level, like a basement floor, kitchen floor, it just usually is nothing but a long hallway. So at 2:26 a.m. and right at 46 minutes is when Kanika is walking down this long hallway. Then at 2:29, we now have Kanika, who appears to be walking in the lower level hallway. Now, that lower level hallway, for those of you that might not know yet, and it seems that we all know now, because this case seems to have been viewed by millions and millions of people all over the world. But at approximately 2:29 is when you see the footage of Kanika now stumbling, bouncing off of walls. And that would be the footage when she hits the stair rail in that hallway. And then comes back over and appears to go into a men's restroom and come out of. Then we have 2:35 a.m. where Kanika again is saw live. And at that time, she has a cup in her hand and she is sitting with her back up against the wall. That's at approximately 2:35 a.m. Then we have a break from 2:35 up until 3:25. There's really no live footage that we have seen, that we all need to remember that we have seen, because we all know and we've all learned that there is a lot of manipulation that can take place with your Facebook Live, your Instagram, as well as your your Snapchat. Okay, so then at 3:25 is when everyone keeps saying that they seen that, well, not everyone. 3:25 is when Kanika is now seen in the kitchen, okay, of the hotel. Okay, so that right now is the timeline that we are working with. Those are the times that we have accumulated based on the footage that has been presented or that we have seen. Because if there's any footage out there that anyone knows about that we haven't seen, if you have it, please present it to us, so that we can go ahead and try to add those times into our timeline, which could possibly help make this mystery make a little more sense. Now we're going to go down and we're going to discuss the alleged friends / suspects that were supposed to be in the room on that night. We all know that Kanika Jenkins was in the room at that time. We then have Irene Roberts, who was supposed to be the birthday girl, but apparently we have some people saying Irene and Kanika were close friends, and there's other people that are saying that Irene and Kanika were not close friends. Okay, well, we can't argue that. Now, my daughter also discovered that Irene Roberts may also be. Okay, we're going to remove that. Okay, so she took that out, meaning that Irene, Renee, and Nene, not Nene, Riri, excuse me, everyone. Irene, Renee, and Riri are all the same people. Again, Irene, Renee, and Nene. Riri. Okay, all these Ri's and Ri's, okay. Work with me here, people, work with me. Are all the same people. Okay. Anyone that does not know, Monifa was also in the room. Monifa was sitting in the video to the right of Abriana Mays. Again, that would be Abriana Mays, who was on the bed. Okay. And that was doing the live feed in the room with Irene. Now, here, my daughter, I'm going to let her take this one also. You all, please forgive me. We'll be back and forth because some things she can better explain, or she's better explaining it than I am. So I'm going to let you handle that one.
Which part?
Yes.
So Monica was sitting on the live feed. Monica leaned over the phone and said she had her face in the camera. She asked her, who are you talking to? And they said, why does it matter? Don't quote me. It was what she said. So Monica was sitting on the corner of the bed, close to the bathroom. And there was Adriana. Adriana Mays was sitting next to Renee in the white tank top. She was the one that had the cup in her mouth. Tola Anderson, we figured out Tola Anderson was in the room because she posted on Facebook that she was and we believe that she is the one sitting next to Renee or me in the room, and she was the one that was against the wall. Now, a lot of people are going to debate the situation. They're going to say that that's a man with the long curly hair. I feel that that might be Tola Vista or Tola Vista. That may be Tola Anderson. Anyway, so that might be Tola Anderson. Might be. I'm not too sure. Now, Shamaya was also in the room. My concern with Shamaya is we see Shamaya on camera, but we can clearly hear in the video. We can hear one of the girls say Shamaya. So I don't know if she was talking about Shamaya or if Shamaya was physically in the room because you never see her on the camera. So at this time, Shamaya's whereabouts are unknown.
Things that make you go,
So those are her friends, quote suspects. I don't think we should go into the guys at this time, so just wait because that's a little tedious as we go through the discussion and talk about what we're going to talk about. And then because I personally feel when it comes to the guys, social media has really beat them not knowing if they were actually based off of going to social media and finding matching quote unquote jackets and you can't even say matched or we're picking it over when it comes to the guys. The only one that we can really say might be a little suspect or two would be Tyrone, definitely Tyrone, which is right here. Tyrone is the person who did the live room. And we have Oliver Herman, who we can verify was in. That's the one on this live feed that says.
I know we're around you.
So that's Oliver. Who was also in the room. His Facebook posted a comment basically saying that he was the one that said that he was tripping his car and everybody felt like their car, his car. So he also is one of the people that was on the live feed. Everybody else, I feel we're just guessing. We're to their Facebook or matching jacket or matching a murder investigation. So those are the timeline as well as bringing the line that we know.
Okay. So basically, like I said, what we are doing here is because just like everybody else in this big old world, we too have become very intrigued. Oh, we're sorry. And I already have a deep voice. I thought I was speaking too loud.
So
That part. Um, Tom, Tommy Sosa. Now, what I would like to say is in our room, okay, we are asking that everyone, please, whether it's by way of your messages, your text messages, or if somehow we are able to figure out, because again, like I said, the three of us here, we're not computer techs. We don't know how to go in and do a lot of the other fancy stuff that some of you all have been able to do with the videos and the voice, you know, breaking down the voice or the audio. That's not what we're here trying to do. You know, we're going to leave that up to the professionals and the people that know what to do. We're basically here to have an open discussion based on everyone's thoughts, feelings, opinions, and theories. But what we're going to ask of everyone is we're asking that everyone, please, could you all hold on just a moment? My daughter's decided to click on buttons, and I don't know if I am still being heard or if she has cut me off. I'm still being heard? Oh. So again, what I was saying is we're just asking for everyone to please respect everyone else's thoughts, everyone else's opinions, and everyone else's theories. Because the bottom line is none of us, not any one of us knows exactly what took place in the Crown Royal Plaza Hotel on the night nor morning of September 9th, which led up to Kenneka Jenkins' death or the finding of her body on September 11th. All we're doing is going by the information that has been given to us. And I've listened to a lot of different people's input on this. And some of you guys, I'm going to be honest, you have some really good points. I mean, really. I mean, some of the points have brought my sister and I, we have been up all night for the last like 6 nights, till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning trying to break this thing down and make it make sense. And a lot of you guys really have some good information. You have some good points, but everything you're saying becomes overshadowed because of the profanity and all of that. You know, the elevated voices, because now you're acting as though you really know these people and you're so pissed you want to go after them, and it's showing. And I learned a long time ago that two sets of eyes are always better than one. two sets of ears are always better than one, because what I might not see, you may see. And if we can all just pull together and pull the information that we all have together and put it in a timeline, who's to say that we just might not? Who's to say that the public just might not be the individuals who come together and truly do solve this crime? But if we're acting and treating each other the way the general public already expects us to, then we're never going to get anything accomplished. So again, all I'm asking is for everyone to please be mindful when speaking. Please try to prevent from demeaning someone else or calling someone else out of their name because you don't agree with what their thoughts, feelings, and opinions are. Okay, because opinions are like hearts. We all have one. Nobody's opinion is right and nobody's opinion is wrong. So I don't know what are we moving into now? The question?
Oh, my goodness. My personal opinion is that, you know, he, let's just be clear, there are a lot of themselves. One moment we have video, see her when you walk with it, and you saw cameras. Said, the other day, it might be came to the protest and footage of her sneaking into the kitchen and doing the walkthrough and basically stated that they had never been to the kitchen before. So I understand everybody's opinion. Everybody's reason for having an opinion. I don't know what it is that we're trying to do about her. This is a woman who lost her daughter. Now, if you're trying to say that you feel that she was involved in it, that's a little ridiculous. But yes, I'm going to insist that we're going to set from
Excuse us for just a moment, you all. We're reading something. But because we become silent does not mean that you all have to become silent. You can continue sending your questions, you can continue sending your opinions. And remember, this is all new to us, and we are going to truly and honestly try to answer you all's questions. We're going to try to give you our theory and our opinion when you all ask or seek it from us. But again, we're just asking that you, everyone respects everyone. It appears my daughter was asking the question about Teresa Martin. And like she said, we've all had our differences of opinions in regards to Miss Teresa right here in my house, just the three of us. You know, there are days when we agree on certain things regarding her, and then there are days we're all scratching our head like we just don't know. My opinion as a mother who has lost a child, who has lost a sibling, who has lost my husband, everybody grieves differently, because we don't see somebody falling out, screaming, crying, going off, acting a fool does not mean that they're not silently going through their pain. None of us knows what that lady is going through when she's in the four corners of her own home and she has to walk by Kanika's bedroom knowing that she's never going to hear her daughter's voice again. When she walks in the bathroom and sees something as simple as one of Kanika's ponytail bands sitting on the sink. Just simple little things, you guys, and all of that needs to be taken into consideration, because my personal opinion is is I honestly don't believe that this woman had anything at all to do with the tragic circumstances that led up to her daughter's demise. I'm sorry, I just don't. Doesn't mean I'm taking away from your feelings. I'm just expressing mine, and mine are coming from a mother's standpoint. They're also coming from a Black woman's standpoint. I just believe that that woman right now is grieving the way she knows how to grieve. Let's also take into consideration that maybe the best thing that could have happened to this woman is that people did come to her rescue. The activists, just the stranger on the street that came there to be with her, to protest with her. That might be the very thing that is keeping her sane right now. Because let's remember this part. In about another 2 weeks, after this young lady has been put away to rest, most of you all are going to go back to your normal everyday lives. You're going to go back to doing what you do, and that woman is going to still have to live within the quietness of her own mind, knowing that she is never going to see her beautiful baby Kanika ever again. Just my point of view.
Now, and please, you guys, I'm watching the chat at the same time. Feel free to let us know when you can't hear us on my phone. Make it sound like we're going in and out. Tilly G, who put, I don't think she had anything to do with it. I agree. I don't think she did. We have Why You Tripping Off Me, who said the mother is either involved or she's slow. Now, I don't really think that there's an importance to that. You know, everybody does not have the same level of education. So we just take it for a solid assault. And you know, it is what it is. She said what she said. She made some mistakes. Her mother is not paying back for this investigation. I feel that there's some things that she could have done differently, most definitely. As far as when she arrived at the hotel, the 911 telephone call, I feel there's some things said differently. She could have emphasized some things, some importance to it. She could have, you know, told the police officer no, or the dispatch officer no, I need to have officer come out right now. I'm going home to rest. There's some things that she could have done differently. I have somebody said the mic is choppy. Well, we don't know how to fix that.
Well, if the mic is choppy, some of you computer wizards and experts, if you're in the room, could you please tell us how we might be able to unchop the mic? Because again, we are real new at this.
To Max, I hope I said the name right.
It's not a minute like that.
Do you really believe that? Do you really believe all this? Irene is really you really believe that? I do not believe that. Who is lying to the followers and subscribers?
And what was that question? I didn't hear it.
They were basically discussing the situation. What's the guy's name? The rapper, record label owner, who said that after so many subscribers, he's going to keep his followers. Do not follow, do not subscribe, do not pay his page down. This is just for him to get more over on his page so that he can check the I do. My personal anyway.
I would like to also say, you all bear with me here, because sometimes I have to think, because I don't like just shooting anything out there. Because a lot of things that I share, I'm sharing from my own experience. You all have to also understand, just because the police have identified or deemed this as a death investigation does not at all mean that it's not gonna change. Right now, we have to consider a lot of things that cause this to be considered as a death investigation. Number one, based on the footage that we have been presented with, When those police were called out to that hotel upon finding Kanika in the freezer, we don't know, number one, if Kanika still had clothes on, if Kanika had clothes off. We don't know if Kanika had any visible wounds on her body. We definitely know that Kanika most likely didn't have the appearance of any gunshots on her body. So when a police arrives at a scene like that, if there's no outright apparent clues to say that she was in fact murdered, then it automatically is a death investigation. That's with any investigation. The only time it's automatically assumed a homicide is when they know for a fact it was a homicide. Even in a suicide situation, when an investigator gets to the scene of the crime, even if it's in suicide, they can't automatically say it's a suicide, because just because you see someone hanging from their ceiling does not necessarily mean that they hung themselves from that ceiling. There are cases where people have been found hanging, and initially they thought it was a suicide, to come back later to find out that that person was killed at a different location and then brought to the new location and hung from that ceiling to make it appear as though they hung themselves. So 9 times out of 10, when it starts off as a death investigation, that is the reason why. Now, if they come back, and usually also toxicology report usually takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And the only reason I know that is because I've worked in the criminal justice system, and I do know that usually when you start talking about toxicology, it's about 4 to 6 weeks because of all of the different tests that have to be ran. So that's not to say that in 6 weeks, they might come back out and say, after further investigation, after receiving the results of the toxicology report, we are now changing our findings, and this case will now be switched from a death investigation to a homicide investigation. What we need to be doing is just staying in prayer, staying faith up and prayed up, that in fact, those toxicology tests will give us more answers as to what really happened to Tanika. You guys, please forgive me, Kanika.
No, you didn't, girl. We taught people not to say the wrong name all the time, and she just did it. So,
Okay, I'm guilty, but you all know what I'm talking about. So again, I'm just saying, you all, in a situation like this, we have to always keep a very open mind. The worst thing we can do is become closed-minded and stay stuck on one piece of information, because once you close your mind and you stay stuck, nothing that anyone says to you, no information that you're being given, you're not gonna see it, because you're just stuck. You're stuck right there at that point. So you have to be willing to keep your mind open to new information coming in, new findings coming in, new people becoming willing to come forth and tell what they know has really happened in that room. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, had I have been one of those people in that room that night, and anything took place in that room that we think took place in that room, I would be scared to death right now. And I don't know if, in fact, I would be so quick to want to run and tell the police or anybody else what I know. Because if those individuals if it was so easy for them to do what they did to Kanika, then why wouldn't it be very easy for them to try to bring harm to me or my family or my child or my mother or my sister or my brother, so on and so forth. So we have to just keep an open mind and think about things like that. Another thing I want to touch bases on real quick while we're sitting here is the whole big old word, organ donor.
give me a freaking break.
Now, again, I say that most things that my daughter and sister and I speak about, we're speaking out of experience, we're speaking out of knowledge. We have gone back and done our own research. That's where our opinion or our viewpoint is coming from. Okay, you go ahead and say something while I fix
So
it.
while she handles our charger cords and things like that, I just wanted to kind of speak on the organ donor